At dinner, our anniversary dinner, no less, Delilah looked me dead in the eye and said it. I needed a real man, Caleb. You just aren't him. Then she reached for her wine glass like she hadn't just ripped the floor out from under me. 3 years. 3 whole years. And she says this over scallops and candlelight like it's a Yelp review. I didn't say a word. I didn't flip the table. I smiled, left my half of the bill, and walked straight out of the restaurant into the humid Savannah night. And the next morning, 32 missed calls, 23 messages. And that was just Delilah. Because what I didn't know, what I would know very soon, was that my own friends had been on it. But let me rewind a bit. You need to understand just how deep this betrayal went. When you've loved someone as long as I loved Delilah, your brain starts to work against you. It helps them lie to you. That's how I missed the new lingerie tags in the trash. That's how I explained away her late-night work events, even though she's a receptionist. That's how I let her boss's name, Colt, become just background noise. But things started adding up. New clothes, new perfume, new passwords. And the kicker? That phone, glued to her hand like it had state secrets. So when it lit up with a message preview that read, "Miss you already." Last night was, I didn't even need the rest. My stomach had already dropped through the floor. That night I asked her, straight up, while she was blending one of her green smoothies, "Who's Colt?" Her pause was short, calculated. Then came the smirk. That god-awful smirk I will never forget. "Colt's my boss. And yeah, we've been sleeping together for 2 months." She didn't flinch, didn't even blink, just sipped her smoothie like she was proud of herself. "He's a man, Caleb, not a boy hiding behind video games and dreams that never happen." I stood there, frozen, heart racing. But it got worse. Of course it got worse. Because when I asked if our mutual friend Serena knew, Serena, who had introduced us, Delilah laughed. "Oh, honey, everyone knows. They've known. They just didn't want to hurt your feelings." I checked my phone. Group chat with Serena and our other friend, Marcus. "Me? Did you know?" Marcus replied in seconds. "Dude, Delilah needs someone with a future, not just ideas. Don't take it personal." Then Serena chimed in. "We didn't mean to hurt you. We just figured this would push you to grow up." Grow up? I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I smiled, grabbed my weekend bag, laptop, and keys. As I passed Delilah in the kitchen, I said only, "Keep the apartment. Colt seems like he can afford rent." She started to say something, but I closed the door before I could hear it. In the motel room that night, I finally turned off my phone. And for the first time in months, I felt free. 2 days. That's how long it took before I turned my phone back on. 32 missed calls, 47 texts, and something worse, a tidal wave of Instagram posts, stories, and Facebook sympathy traps. According to Delilah, I had been emotionally abusive, controlling, manipulative, a jealous parasite who monitored her every move. She even said I financially abused her by splitting the bills 50-50, like we hadn't agreed to that on day one. The comment section? A feeding frenzy. People I knew were reposting her crying selfie. One even said, "Caleb always gave off toxic energy." This explains so much. But the part that made my blood run cold? An office-wide email from HR creating a safe workplace environment sent to everyone in my job. No names, of course, but the timing. I wasn't stupid. I got a message from Layla, a woman from my department. "Hey, heads up, something about you is going around. Might want to check your email." That's when I realized Delilah wasn't just trying to justify cheating. She was trying to ruin my life. I tried to lay low, just for a few days. Then, at my lowest, I ran into someone unexpected at the storage unit where I'd stashed my things. Bianca, Delilah's former best friend. She looked over her shoulder like she was being followed, then whispered, "You need to be careful. Colt isn't just her boss, he's married. And his wife? She's powerful, influential. Delilah's been painting you as dangerous, trying to cover her tracks." I asked her, "Why are you telling me this?" Bianca's voice cracked. "Because you're not the first. Colt and Delilah did this before. Another guy, Elias, he left town, vanished. Same pattern, same lies." That night, I went full detective. I scoured social media, legal records, found traces of Elias, found whispers of another office scandal from 3 years ago. Delilah started working at Colt's company right around then. And then, like a lightning bolt, an Instagram DM from a woman named Vivian Prescott. The profile? Polished, wealthy, elegant. The message? Chilling. We need to talk about my husband and your girlfriend. Coffee tomorrow, 10 a.m. I'll find you either way. I didn't sleep that night. Vivian wasn't just Colt's wife. She was about to become the spark that set everything on fire. Vivian Prescott didn't just bring gossip. She brought a whole war chest. Coffee shop, corner booth. She didn't even waste time with small talk. Dropped a manila folder on the table like it was an FBI case file. Inside, photos of Delilah and Colt in his car. Texts about getting rid of inconvenient employees. Expense reports disguised as team-building dinners. Even security cam footage from the company garage. Intimate footage. Vivian's voice was cold and precise. He's done this 3 times. Delilah's just the latest co-conspirator. But this time, I'm not sweeping it under the rug. She'd been collecting dirt for months. But there was one final piece she didn't have, a public reckoning. There's a company gala next Friday. Bring yourself, dress sharp, and don't say a word. Let me burn them both. At first, I thought she was joking. But then she said, sometimes the best revenge is giving liars a microphone. They always bury themselves. The hotel ballroom was all glass chandeliers and fake smiles. I showed up in a tailored black suit, the same one Delilah once called too formal for anything. As I walked in, heads turned. Delilah's face? Like she'd seen a ghost. Colt spilled his drink. Literally. And then, like clockwork, Serena slinked up to me, swaying on too many martinis. You've got some nerve showing your face after what you did to her, she hissed. I smiled. Calmly. What exactly did I do, Serena? Go ahead. I am curious. And right then, Gemma, a quiet co-worker who'd stayed neutral this whole time, stepped between us. She pulled out her phone and hit play on a recording. Delilah's voice filled the air. I could ruin Caleb with one story. People eat that stuff up. He's so bland, they'll believe anything about him. People nearby started turning. Listening. Gemma held her phone up higher. She said it in the break room. With Colt, I recorded everything. Vivian stepped up next. No words, just her tablet. Plugged it into the projector. The ballroom lights dimmed, and up came a slideshow. Not of vacation photos, but texts, selfies, Venmo logs, footage, all with timestamps, all irrefutable. Colt tried to unplug the system. Vivian's voice cut through the noise. Don't. You. Dade. Then she turned to the crowd. If anyone here ever questioned whether I knew, consider this your answer. And to the board members in the room, check your inboxes. But the best part? The final speaker. Marcus. Good old don't take it personal Marcus. He stood there, fumbling with his phone. Turns out, he'd been filming everything to show Colt how loyal he was. But now, his voice shook. I didn't know it was this deep. I thought. She said it was just an affair. He played back footage of Delilah screaming at me in our apartment weeks ago. You think you're better than me? You're nothing, Caleb. Nothing. Silence. Colt stormed out. Delilah tried to follow. Vivian handed her a manila envelope without saying a word. Divorce papers. And a court summons. As for me, I stood in the center of the chaos. Didn't speak. Didn't gloat. Just watched the web unravel. Bianca appeared beside me. Whispered. Guess who else is ready to talk? Elias. He's back. I smiled for real. Because now, the revenge was just getting started. Within 48 hours, Colt and Delilah were asked to resign. Official statements, damage control, the works. But the company didn't care about the affair. They cared about the lawsuits Vivian was now filing. Turns out, her evidence didn't just cover Delilah. It covered years of misconduct. Colt had used his position to manipulate, intimidate, and discard employees who knew too much. And Delilah? She was his willing accomplice, a serial manipulator. But what really blew things open was Elias. He flew in that Monday, quiet, measured, holding a flash drive and a folder the size of a phone book. His story was identical to mine. Same emotional campaign, same friend betrayal, same sudden spiral into being labeled unstable and toxic. Only difference? He'd been too scared to fight back. Until now, Vivian's lawyers added his evidence to the growing storm. Now, it wasn't just civil lawsuits, it was federal investigations. Meanwhile, Delilah didn't stay quiet. She released a tearful YouTube video titled, "I Was Groomed Too." Crocodile tears. Soft piano music in the background. Accusations of emotional entrapment by Colt. Claims that she had been manipulated, lied to, discarded. The internet ate it up for 2 hours. Then Bianca posted the screenshots. Private messages between her and Delilah. Detailed step-by-step instructions on how she'd spin the story to make herself the victim. Bianca captioned it, "Since we're all being honest now." Hashtag the truth wins. Delilah's video was pulled within the hour. But even after all that, she wasn't done. Last week, Pete, the motel owner, called me at work. "That girl you told me about? She's here. Crying. Screaming. Got some kind of envelope." I drove back slow. Let her wait. She was sitting on my car, mascara streaked, holding a manila envelope like it was a grenade. "Help me," she said. "I have dirt on everyone. If you don't help me stop this, I'll release it all." I looked inside. Photos, screenshots, emails, private messages, dirt on every person who ever trusted her, even Serena and Marcus. I took pictures of every page, then handed it back. "Burn it. Release it. Doesn't matter. You're done, Delilah. Look around. There's no one left to blackmail." She stared at me, shaking. Then, in full view of security cameras and Pete peeking from the office window, she ripped the entire envelope in half and screamed. Someone recorded it. It went viral within hours. The caption? "This is what happens when you play with fire." Vivian finalized her divorce last Thursday. She got the house, the cars, the stocks. Colt? He's bankrupt, unemployable, and, according to Google, being investigated for wire fraud. Delilah? Moved back in with her parents in Delaware. Her accounts are deleted. Her supporters are silent. Serena's job is in danger. Marcus tried to apply to another firm. Bianca made sure they saw everything. And me? I just signed a lease on a new apartment in downtown Savannah. Got a promotion. Started seeing someone new. Slow, cautious, honest. Funny how peace returns when liars disappear. But I won't lie. Watch it all burn? That was the best closure I never knew I needed. You'd think the story ends there, with the cheaters exposed, the lies torched, and the villainess dragging her pride back to Delaware. But no, one last ember was still glowing. A week after her meltdown in the motel parking lot, I got one more message. Not from Delilah, not from Colt, from Mark, the first victim, the one who vanished years ago after being targeted by Colt and Delilah. Turns out he'd been watching everything unfold through mutual friends, and he had his own pile of receipts. Screenshots, emails, even audio from meetings where they'd plotted against him. With Vivian's help, Mark filed a new lawsuit, this one aimed directly at the company's board. Why? Because they'd known. They'd signed NDAs with the previous victims, paid out settlements, buried stories. Vivian? She was furious. She turned over everything to a journalist friend, someone with reach, teeth, and zero loyalty to corporate hush money. A week later, the expose dropped. Golden Boy, the CEO, his mistress, and the 5-year cover-up names. Receipts, photos, testimonies. It went viral. By morning, the company's stock had dropped 14%. By nightfall, the board released a statement and resigned. Delilah was finished. No one was hiring. No one was replying. She posted a last desperate story, blaming everyone. Vivian, me, Mark, the toxic internet. But no one cared anymore. Even her parents took her phone away. I heard she's working at a diner in Wilmington now, wearing a name tag that says D. Guess Delilah became too infamous. Colt? He's broke, divorced, being investigated. No car, no apartment, just subpoenas. Serena? Marcus? They faded into silence. The friends who once smirked at my pain can't even show their faces at the same bars anymore. And the people I thought were lost to her lies? Some returned, quietly. Some didn't. That's fine too, because I'm not the same man I was. This morning, I found something while unpacking, an old photo of me and Delilah at Tybee Beach. We're smiling, but now I can see it, the way she's angled away from me. her eyes not quite meeting mine. I burned it, not out of rage, out of closure, because the truth is, I didn't get revenge. I gave in the rope. They hung themselves, and sometimes, that's the most satisfying ending of all.